Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Rise Up Voices from the Front Lines. Today, I want to preface our conversation with a trigger warning. Today, we are going to be talking about human trafficking, childhood abuse, and prostitution. And I know these are sensitive topics and may not be appropriate for all audiences. So listener discretion is advised. Who here has a child that they care about? It doesn't have to be your own, maybe a friend's child, a nephew or niece, or even a neighbor. I know most of you do. Our children are born on the front lines of a battlefield, a battle to be loved, a battle to be safe, and a battle to be free from the bondage of childhood sexual assault, abduction, abuse, and trafficking. I was born the throwaway child of a victim of human trafficking. My mother, a young woman ensnared by addiction, was more concerned with where her next fix was coming from than what her captor and pimp was doing with her newborn daughter. She was kept compliant through threats of violence and forced addiction, tools traffickers often wield with precision. At just a few months old, my health deteriorated, leading to hospitalization that likely saved my life and intervention by the state. By then, I'd already learned that no one would come and comfort me when I cried, and silence meant safety. Placed into foster care, I, like many children in the system, suffered from attachment disorders stemming from early abuse and neglect. Despite my adoptive parents' best efforts, the programming of my early experiences set me on a tumultuous path. I became a victim again and again, as if unconsciously seeking to replay the trauma. I was sexually assaulted by a relative, a celebrated first responder who told me no one would believe me if I told them what he was doing. What are we supposed to do when those sworn to protect us become our abusers? Lacking the foundation for healthy relationships, I found myself married to an abuser and a pedophile. Maybe I was trying to prove that I was bad, broken, or unlovable. Or maybe I just didn't see the signs. Sometimes abuse feels so familiar, and that's way more acceptable than the discomfort of something new and unpredictable. I would find my way through those shadows somehow, through resilience, education, and 2 decades of deep healing work. I stand before you today not as a victim, but as a warrior, unashamed of my story. I share my journey to eliminate the darkest corners of our society. Alone, I may be just a drop in the ocean, but together we create a tidal wave of change. Let's talk about the murky waters, victim or criminal. Identifying victims of human trafficking is fraught with complexities. In Texas, individuals, including minors, have faced criminal charges for prostitution. Shockingly, children as young as 13 have been prosecuted, highlighting a grave misinterpretation of victimhood. This misclassification stems from behaviors and trauma responses that are so often misunderstood. Victims may appear uncooperative or even aggressive, masking their fear and the manipulation that put them there. Recognizing these and so many other signs requires training and empathy, ensuring that those in need receive support rather than punishment. Battle to Be is on the job, helping bridge the gap between survivors, rescuers, and law enforcement. To criminalize or legalize, this is a double-edged challenge. Often what seems to be the compassionate answer leads to detrimental, unforeseen consequences. The debate over the criminalization of prostitution presents a paradox in rescue operations. In Texas, the law is evolving to address this issue. The Texas Supreme Court finally ruled that children under 14 cannot legally consent to sex and therefore cannot be prosecuted for prostitution. However, gaps remain for older minors, underscoring the need for comprehensive safe harbor laws. Effective intervention necessitates robust collaboration between law enforcement and nonprofit organizations. By sharing information and focusing on referrals over punitive measures, we can prioritize the well-being of victims and the safety of our communities. Let me be unequivocal. There is no such thing as a child prostitute. Federal law, through the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which you'll see as TVPA, classifies any minor engaged in commercial sex acts as a victim of trafficking, irrespective of the presence of force, fraud, or coercion. Yet, in Texas, children as young as 13 have been charged with prostitution. This contradiction not only defies federal mandates, but also perpetuates the victimization of innocent youth. It is imperative that we align our state laws with federal standards to protect these children effectively. Human trafficking doesn't always lurk in the shadows. Often it's hidden in plain sight, masquerading within seemingly legitimate businesses. Right here in Houston, illicit massage businesses, IMBs, are a significant concern. A study estimates that these establishments serve approximately 2,869 customers a day, generating an annual gross revenue of over $107 million, according to our Forensic Crime Stoppers of Houston. These figures underscore the pervasive nature of trafficking within our own communities. Recognizing the signs and understanding the scale of this issue is crucial for effective intervention and support. Similarly, you might see individuals soliciting funds on street corners with heartrending stories. They may be doing so under duress or coercion. You may also see street vendors who are trafficking victims, nail techs, and any other service businesses. Recognizing these scenarios, again, is crucial for intervention and support. Reflecting on my journey from a child born into exploitation to an advocate standing before you today, I recognize the power of collective action. Alone, my efforts may seem insignificant, just a drop in the vast ocean of this crisis. But together we are a formidable force, a tidal wave, capable of eradicating human trafficking. I urge each of you to join this movement. Educate yourselves, support survivor-led initiatives, and advocate for policies that protect the vulnerable. Together, we can shine a light into the darkest places and create lasting change. My call to action to you: educate, attend workshops and seminars on human trafficking awareness, or invite an expert like me to come give a training or keynote. Support, donate to, and volunteer with organizations dedicated to survivor support and advocacy, like Battle to Be. You can make a donation with me here today, or go to battletebe.org and click the donate button at the top of the page. BATTLE2BE.org. Advocate. Engage with policymakers to promote legislation that protects victims and holds traffickers accountable. My name is Krista Fee, and I am a survivor. I am a warrior, and I hold degrees in military trauma and crisis, forensics, criminal justice, and national security, and over 70 certifications in trauma and crisis work. I'm a certified and experienced human trafficking investigator and executive director and program developer for RISEUP Phoenix Trauma and Crisis Institute and Battle to Be Inc., the 501c3 nonprofit. Thank you for joining me in this fight.